hello there, YouTube. Welcome to Tuesday, the 8th of November. 32 degrees out here. She's all froze up. Our neighbors over there, they had a big old fire going last night. It was wonderful. But they're cleaning up all their junk, which is normal this time of year. The rains start kicking in, the fire bans end, and everybody cleans their stuff. But the smell of a campfire this morning was phenomenal. There's an old guy out there. Look, even the cherry tree, she's getting really thin. You can see the sky through it. Even the leaves are slowly disappearing. It's funny how they just go away between wind and worms and all kinds of different things that make all that stuff go away. That and just time, they just rot and go away. Look at this, mama. 46 and crazy sunshine today.
It is very pretty.
Yeah.
Blue.
And tomorrow's supposed to be even nicer.
Yes. Yeah, more sunny.
Yeah. So Kelly caught at about 3 o'clock. She didn't catch the total lunar eclipse, but she goes, yeah, full moon, it was bright. I go out there and it was coal black.
Yeah, it was black.
She goes, it's so dark I couldn't tell where the eclipse was, but it was in full swing.
Mm-hmm.
I was thinking, maybe I'll wake up and go out, and nope. I done finished my stuff and crashed out.
Yes, you did.
Well, Mama, have yourself a wonderful Tuesday.
You too, hubby hub.
All right. Love you. See you. Bye.
Love you.
Bye-bye now.
Bye.
So when you get to the interval where you're replacing the HCN filter, which the first time's at 28K, make sure you have more than the oil change kit. Because I think there's more. I haven't put oil back in this thing yet, but I think it's more than a quart. I want to say it's like a quart and a half. But what I wanted to show you, if I can I even get you in there? Oh man. So I let the air out to get the sand and stuff out from underneath there. But you can see there's very little. But something I've noticed that I didn't notice before, it's not really sitting on a pan anymore. It's kind of a flat area. It definitely has some junk in there that needs to be taken out. But yeah, the pan that it sat in before kind of helped it collect stuff. But as you can see, it's just flat. It's not a big dish, like a little saucer it's sitting in type of thing. All right, I'll blow that out and put air back in her. Wow, way more came out of there than what I thought. But I do like that the swing arm shape has changed. In case you're wondering, because this has ACS, there's the ACS pump. I put about 45 pounds in there. It doesn't matter, you just need something so that it doesn't completely bottom out, which that in itself ain't gonna hurt anything. But the first thing I don't want to happen is for this pump to have to completely fill an airbag right out of the gate. So I put like in this case I had 45 in there. And just in case you're wondering, each time you cycle that, you take it off, put it back, you lose 2 PSI. But you have to have a very good sealing gauge. So I think it had like 50 when I started, 51, and I just go it down. You hit the release button, and yeah, you're putting air back in. Very small. It's like a 10-speed tire. Very small volume of air inside that thing. It like loses it really quick. So yeah, and then once you fire this thing up the first time, it has to be running, obviously, in gear and the park brake turned off. And then the ACS pump will use the ride height sensor, which is right here, connected to the swing arm. This is that bolt that so many people doing PDIs forget to put in there because it's completely collapsed and the shock is not attached. That will overextend this. Remember people were saying that you had to take that thing off to do a tire because the swing arm fully extending will break the sensor? Well, people just don't think about what they're saying before they say it. No, never do you have to take that off. Unless you're taking the shock off and you can let all the weight down. Because these things come in a crate with the lower shock bolt missing and it's just bottomed all the way out. That would be enough to swing this arm up enough to damage it. But no other time do you take it off unless you're replacing it for whatever reason. But yeah, so this thing you don't have control over it like in the old days, because the button said hard and soft, so they'd max the thing out thinking they're making their suspension stiffer. All you're doing is your ride height. That's all that's controlling is ride height. You ride it too low, the shock has too little throw, so you get a rough ride. You max it out, and it's running too high, and you're changing your handling of the bike because you got the rear all jacked up in the air. So in 2018, maybe sooner, they took that away from you. In case any of you guys were wondering from the other day about the evap pre-filter, which as you can see, filter air. It's hard to find it on there. That upper, see how they use these plastic, they're almost like a push pin, but it's a threaded one. The one that's way up there, really tricky. You can't get your hand to it. You get a little small thing in a easy red and get her out. And then thankfully it doesn't use an Oetiker clamp like they used to. It's a regular spring clamp, and just use some fancy pliers to get them out. And then this to hold, because the hose wants to spring everything back up in there, so just kind of hold it down and pull it out. Ooh, that's that gravel stuff that was everywhere. Looks like they were in like Utah or something. Look at that. I mean, this stuff everywhere. Well, there's definitely one thing that hasn't changed over the years. How ridiculous it is to get that fuel filter out of this thing. It's buried behind that frame. And you got all these little frameworks and clamps and everything that holds everything in. I mean, that's overcomplicated enough. That'd make Honda proud. Honda would look at that and go, "Good job, BRP. Make it as difficult as possible. Thank you." It's crazy. People go, "Chad, just go ahead and pop a fuel filter in there for me." Yeah. You have no idea how much of this Spyder has to come apart just to get to a fuel filter. It's kind of crazy, huh? Unless you've done one, you don't even understand. And if you don't have the correct Knipex Oetiker clamp pliers, just go back home. You have to use them pliers for these Oetiker clamps. It's crucial. I can't get it to focus, but there's the front of the filter. Oh, and make sure you're paying attention to the flow of the filter too. Don't put it in there backwards. Zip tie your stuff just the way it came from the factory. Put everything back where it was. But there you are. There's the fuel filter. Pretty much all the 1330 RTs are the same as this. The F3s are buried up there, up in this back side of this frame, which is that's a whole nother story in itself. Yeah, but just the way things are nowadays. You got people that design them, and you got us that work on them. We don't always agree with the designers. All right. Remember I was telling you guys to use the Dow Corning 111? Don't freak out about it because it's expensive. Don't freak out how expensive that is. I've had this since 2010. Of course, the tube was about twice as long, but see them lips right there? That keeps the aqua from going down these holes. So I just wipe the outside and inside of this. It's just like the watercraft with that Dow Corning grease. It's like really thick Vaseline, really thick and pasty, but it's waterproof. It never dies. You use it on spark plug caps on BMWs and stuff like that as well. This is what I want to show you if I can make this focus. Remember I told you how deep the spark plugs were? Hello, hello, hello. What's the weather like down there? It's crazy. Takes a long socket to reach in there and grab those things. That's pretty nuts, huh? And one of the other things I want to mention, if you decide to do a 28K on yours, and if you do, don't miss anything, nothing. Go right down the list and do everything it says. Do the spark plugs last. The reason I tell you to do the spark plugs last, because there's so many things you can do when you have all that body work off that you're not pulling panels, reinstalling panels, pulling panels again, reinstalling panels. When you get to where you can do the spark plugs, everything is off, with the exception of that evap canister or pre-filter. That thing is shoehorned in there. But everything you need to get to, right there. Look how easy it is to check and adjust the belt. You got the HCM filter on the other side. Look at your coolant bottle. How fun is it to get to the coolant bottle and see what the level is? Now that they make them things out of solid white, it's becoming more interesting. So HCM filters all there. Fuel filters right there. Cleaning your airbag. All that's not part of the service, but check that every once in a while. Doing all that, it's all open. Brake flush if it's for the flush. And like I say, once you're down to where them spark plugs are, everything's off the bike. Now, before you change the plugs, do all the service. Go down your checklist and go check everything off. Now that I've done everything there is to do in this service, I'm going to put the spark plugs in and put the bike back together. Then we'll be done. So when I mentioned the check sheet, I built check sheets for motorcycles and Spyders. I've been doing this since 84 is when I built the first check sheet. That's crazy, huh? That was at Portland, Honda. No, in 84 I was still at the Honda Yamaha shop there in Longview. But we had it printed out, and it was all the carbon copies. And when Microsoft first came out with Excel, then I built it in Excel. And then, the nice thing, you could alter, you could do different things with it. And anyway, this is based off the manufacturer's thing. I've already started on this one, but it's got the customer's name, so I'm obviously not going to show you that one. But you'll see it's all related to 1330 Spyders. And as things change, I make adjustments, but you can see nothing has changed in how you do it, because it's got my copyright on there that I put on there. 7 of 14. Nothing's changed. Built that when we first got manuals and stuff like that for it. I think I may have made some changes, but I didn't update my copyright thing there. But yeah, still goes. And this is based on the manufacturer, on BRP's schedule. And it's a one-off, whether it's the first service or a 28K, the big one. And there's notes where appropriate, things that are done at 19K and just 28K, all the things that are related to BRP's schedule. And I go through, and as I do things, I check them off. That way, when I'm done, I got any empty holes over here, I've missed something. And you don't want to be doing your check sheet and then suddenly realize you've put all the body work on and you got to take a bunch of stuff off. Like, God forbid, you forgot the fuel filter. That is not fun, especially on these newer ones. Because, that side panel, all that stuff's got to come off. But that's why I say to do it that way. So I was thinking about that, and I go, I should show them that check sheet. I built that thing long time ago. Crazy, huh? It's still being used. And it's on Excel, so if something needs to be changed, it's reprint them. And I just print off like a handful. I do like 5 to 10 of these at a time. Just in case something changes, you never know. All right. So from this point, go here first on a 28K. Go here first. Then do everything else. And this should be the last thing you do. And then reassemble the bike. Of course, I got a do oil levels and stuff like that, but everything else is done. That's it. Tires, belts, everything on the checklist. Reassemble. And that's it. So at this point, you throw her in reverse. So a lot of people, I hear people going, that's ridiculous. You got to go through all that to do just to change the spark plugs. Okay. But there's all this other stuff you're doing too. That's why the price isn't like 20 hours for this thing. Because you're supposed to be wise. Pay attention to what other things you're doing. And say to yourself, if I took everything apart it takes to get to the spark plugs, all this other stuff is going to be accessible. And that's the way you work with it. Think smarter, not harder. Well, that's a wrap. Whole lot, and I do mean a whole lot easier going back together than it was coming apart, as I had no type of instructions or anything. But it wasn't that hard. You just gotta take a couple of deep breaths and just push forward. But yeah, going back together, now that you know how everything goes, I wouldn't say this is any worse, definitely not any better than the older RTs, but no worse, just different. Who knows, after I do a couple, as these things start coming in for the 28Ks, it's kind of weird that the 23 model is about to come out, and this is the first 28K I've done. And the other tech that's here, my son, said he hasn't either, so, you guys aren't putting enough miles on these things, I reckon. But, yeah, there we are. She's beautiful. No codes when I plugged it in. I do need to finish out my paperwork and take it for test drive. I just need to get her fully up to temp and do a proper oil level inspection. She's pretty much dead on now, just slightly low. And you need to get it hot because it expands with heat. And it did take about a quart extra of oil to get it where it's at. We're replacing that HCM filter. It's crazy how much oil comes out of the hydraulic control module when you pull that filter off. It's nuts, actually. It's roughly a quart. All right, that'll be that for today. Well, hello there, YouTube. It is 33 degrees out here already. We just got home, put the car away. The girls that's embarking, they're going, hey, we've had enough of the cold. We want inside.
Yes, so we need to go get them.
Yeah, so thought we'd pull out the old camera, do a quick goodbye, and roll out. We need to set up our in-car vlogging thing.
Yeah.
But you sit there in that car and you ramble on
Oh,
saying the
get
goodbye, and then
long-winded.
and you get out and you really freeze sitting in that car. But anyway, we're gonna make it short and sweet tonight.
Alrighty. Well, thank you guys so much for watching. We really do appreciate it. We will talk to you tomorrow. Same smoke time, same smoke channel. Don't forget to give a thumbs up. And you guys have an amazing Wednesday or Thursday.
Got some excited dogs here.
Yes.
So. Well, thanks for hanging out. We'll see you guys tomorrow.
Bye.
Bye-bye now.